Hi, this is Meg King, and this is my presentation. Marijuana scheduling status has to change. In 2018, the U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams stated, "One of the concerns that I have with marijuana is the difficulty that folks have to research it because of the scheduling system." Blake, 2018. Drug schedule. Schedule 1 status is defined as having a high potential for abuse and dependence with no acceptable medical uses. Heroin is a Schedule 1 drug. Are heroin and marijuana comparable? Cocaine and methamphetamine are Schedule 2. Even with change from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2, the drugs do not seem comparable. However, moving forward, changing marijuana to a different schedule, perhaps Schedule 2, would classify it as having some medical uses still with high potential for abuse and dependence. According to the Drug Policy Alliance, it should be removed altogether from the Controlled Substance Schedule, since it serves to provide medical purpose with minimal potential for abuse and dependence. Still, more contradiction is that at this time there are two marijuana derivative-based drugs, Sativex and Epidiolex. They have FDA-approved trials. Limitations of the research are a direct result of the Schedule 1 status of marijuana. Clinical trials and drug testing can only be done with the change in status. Even with the change, it will take time to get the approval of the FDA and the money needed to do the research. There will be no immediate remedies, but we will be able to work towards marijuana products with medical efficacy and safety.
Blindly following the trends. When it comes to marijuana, we really don't know very much. An example of some of the dangers that exist presently without the FDA or some other governing body were featured in an NBC News story when they did an investigation into bootleg marijuana vapes. NBC had commissioned laboratory tests of knockoff marijuana vapes. The results again bring to light one of the public's health risks that are a result of the Scheduling 1 status of marijuana in and a roundabout way. The DEA's scheduling has blocked needed research and supervision. The lab results found pesticides in 10 out of 10 products. Those people using marijuana for medical purposes will not be cut off to suffer. Legal states' marijuana businesses will not be impacted by the rescheduling. They will remain in the abyss of the Department of Justice's ill-fitted situation. The fear of jobs and money being lost as a direct result of this schedule change will not be realized. The public support of legalized marijuana and the government's need for the people's support remain entwined, leaving the government to maintain the current state's approach to the marijuana strategies. A rescheduling to a lesser classification would allow marijuana dispensaries to remain business as usual.
Marijuana needs to be understood. Marijuana is prohibited by the DEA from being produced by private laboratories for scientific research. The DEA permits only one facility to produce marijuana for federally approved research. This facility holds a monopoly on the supply of marijuana available to scientists. Researchers seeking to conduct FDA-approved studies of marijuana must procure the plant from that facility. The research that's been done thus far seems to be disproportionately focused on the adverse health impacts of marijuana. In changing the scheduling that presently creates significant barriers to federally funded research, there would be the opportunity to study any medical benefits that may exist. Schedule 2 would make it easier to acquire research funding and approvals. We need more data and more conclusions. Senate appropriation committees have made statements recognizing the need to lower regulation and other obstacles to get the research done and get a closer look at marijuana. The possible benefits of marijuana need to be clearly understood. The rapid growth of the markets in these states, along with the public support, speak for themselves. Research and understanding can only be done through rescheduling. A downside to this research would be the overbearing governing presence in the industry with supervised growth, processing, packaging, and distribution of marijuana products, and a system to monitor the consistency of THC content. In conclusion, the rescheduling of marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 2 will lead to a safe bifunctional marketplace with dispensary products approved by the Drug Enforcement Agency and pharmaceuticals approved by the FDA. There needs to be a strong drive forward where marijuana is concerned. Keeping marijuana a Scheduled 1 drug for the safety and well-being of the public is putting the public in jeopardy. Marijuana scheduling has to change. My references are found on the next slide.